From multi-million-dollar hypercars and supercars that can literally jump to the goofiest ripoffs you're ever gonna see. Welcome to China, or more specifically, welcome to the Chinese car tier list. Starting off with the Beijing Auto BJ80 SUV. Brother, please never name your car after a blow. What do you get when you take a regular AMG 6x6 G-Wagon and add a bit of Chinese inspiration? You get the BJ80. Oh my god. It also seems the Chinese were not quite happy with how bizarre this car was, so they decided to make it even more bizarre by using a Saab 2.3-liter Turbo 4, allowing it to push 250 horsepower. Now, let me drop some unbelievable stuff here. The company that owns Beijing Auto actually bought the rights to the Saab 2-liter turbo and the Saab 2.3 turbo from GM in 2009, plus the rights for the Saab 9.3 and the first-gen Saab 9.5. A tier for the Saab engine because there are a lot worse Chinese cars out there, and to be honest, this is decently solid. Except it's only a concept, so D tier. This is the Yangwang or Yangwang U9, a 1300 plus horsepower Chinese super hyper giga car that costs $250,000. Also, the average price of a street lamp in San Francisco. It can also jump. With a top speed of 309 kilometers or 192 miles an hour, it can reach 0 to 60 in just 2.36 seconds thanks to its electric motors. A tier only because it's not sitting on some linglongs. This is a Corvette C1, also known as the first generation, but that is also a lie because it's a Songsan Dolphin. It debuted in 2020 as a hybrid, and Songsan said that Americans could buy it if they paid $160,000. $160K for a C1 ripoff is crazy business. F tier.
我在北京。
Although this was a Beijing transition, we're actually in Shanghai, because that is where the Shanghai Auto Show takes place. But we're not there for that. We're there for the FAW Bastion Xiaomi QQ's Pew Pew. Yeah, that's an F tier name right there. Oh shit. Alright, let's take a look at the FAW Bastion Xiaomi QQ's Pew Pew. This car comes standard with a whopping 27 horsepower. You can't keep getting away with it! It's a city car, kind of like the Honda E, but just without the power and whatnot. But the QQ's Pew Pew edition has penguins and other animals. Look, say what you want, but I think this type of stuff must be super popular in China. Like, I can see why a person would want to buy this. And it costs like $5,000. S tier. The Ziker O1107. The Ziker 001 is the world's first fully electric shooting brake set by Ziker. But I gotta say, it's one of the most original cars out of China, in my eyes, although the Porsche creative inspiration is present very clearly.
You naughty naughty.
Great range and a highly spec'd vehicle that costs much less compared to its rivals, and this is supposed to be a more expensive brand. But keep in mind, these are Chinese figures, so the car that costs $15,000 in China won't cost the same in other places. This starts at around $35,000 to $40,000, and in my country, that's actually what they're going for too. A tier, because I do like how this thing looks. The Xiaomi SU7 Ultra is a car made by Xiaomi, who are known for making this, and this. They literally won't sell you this car unless you do a step-by-step exam, because a 1500 horsepower car in the hands of anyone can be a weapon of mass destruction. Furthermore, the car is also known for being super safe, with great brakes that will never fail and a lovely seat that will never come loose in case said brakes somehow fail and you somehow crash. Oh shit, S tier. I mean, it lapped the Nürburgring in 6 minutes and 46 seconds. And that's not even the official record, come on now. The NIO EP9 is a track-only hypercar that costs over $3 million and is produced by Elon Musk. NIO is by far my favorite Chinese car company because they're unique and they've got history and culture. The EP9 is also special because it was literally their first car. What? And they launched it on the same day they launched the brand. What? It cost almost $3.5 million and was sold first to NIO investors and then to the public. They've since gone on to do some great things, such as introduce soccer mom SUVs and some lovely sedans that I really dig the look of. Straight S tier, but we've got too many. Time to change that. Shanguan was, or is, a Chinese company, and I've got no idea if they still exist, but whatever, because their legacy remains. The Booth, the book of songs that's also got the tiniest gear lever I have ever seen. The Xiaoya, the Fang, the Ya, the Pride East Tar, a piece of cloud, or better known as the Detroit Fish. These guys were on a generational run, yet I cannot for the life of me figure out why their cars failed. God, this literally cluttered the F tier, but the Booth, with its amazingly average gear lever, gets a D tier. Denza was a brand created in 2011 after a joint collaboration between BYD and Mercedes. Now it's fully owned by BYD because Mercedes pulled out. This company has now become quite the powerhouse in their own right, and that's because it's essentially BYD, the largest automotive company in all of China. Denza is also a brand that has a European focus, and that means the Z9 GT will be their first car sold in Europe. You can already find 800 horsepower plug-in hybrid versions in China for like $43,000, which is nuts. But because it's going to be more expensive in Europe, I'll give it a B tier. But all I can say, BYD is definitely one of the better Chinese cars. The Dongfang Hanma is a Chinese armored vehicle made by the Dongfang Motor Group, and I know what you're thinking, that's a Humvee, but they didn't actually rip them off. So basically, AM General, the company that makes the Humvees, actually went to China and proposed the Humvee to them as a prospective client, however they were turned away. Then in 1990, some interesting things happened in the Middle East and suddenly, China wanted their own Humvee. So they went back and made the Hanma with the help of AM General and by using an actual license for the H1. But then we arrive in 2008, where all of these cars were reverse engineered. Oh my god, so unexpected. However, this car was replaced with the Dongfang Mengshi, and now it might become an electric vehicle sold to consumers. C tier, but it has a lot of lore, I gotta say. The Hongchi S9 sounds more like a phone than a sports car, but it's got a 4-liter V8 paired with a hybrid system that pushes over 1400 horsepower and does a 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds, allegedly. It's also built in Italy and designed by Audi designer Walter De Silva. F tier because it's still not in production 4 years after it was supposed to be. Xpang is perhaps the most interesting company out of China, and that's because they've got a flying car that actually works, by the way. No, like for real, my Chinese friend was present at the initial demonstration, which is pretty crazy. However, that isn't the car I want to talk about. Instead, it's this, the Xpang P7. A modern EV that gives me major Honda, Toyota, Tesla, and even some Prius vibes, which is crazy. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying though. At this point, you're probably wondering why I chose this. Surely it has something to do with its horsepower or tech on board, right? It's the doors. They go up. Whee!
Come on now, dawg.
Lambo-style scissor doors on your electric family sedan is the average middle-aged man's wet dream.
Come on, man.
Pick up your daughter from school with scissor doors to flex on all the other middle-aged dads. Oh yeah. A tier because it's so cool and immature and I just love it. I present to you the Lehon 330. Tell me, what does it look like? It looks like a car with so many bits, don't you think? Almost like as if a Fiat 500 and a Mini got way too drunk one night, and the Fiat went home with the Mini and that led to... However, Lehon, the company that made this, had one more ace up their sleeve. Oh, you thought the 330 was it? Nah. Here's the 320. Pure Mini goodness and creative inspiration. Even the interior, oh my god bro. That is a very clear D tier, because although it's a ripoff, the car is intended to be affordable, and I will not on any affordable cars, except the Mirage. That thing is atrocious, but it's also kind of cute. The Hongchi L Concept limo has a chandelier and no steering wheel, so when you crash, you can get impaled by a few dozen shards. B tier. The Daddy Shuttle. Which zesty-ass employee thought this was a good name? D tier because it's a 08 Land Cruiser Prado ripoff, and you know how I feel about ripoffs. Oh, shit. Speaking of ripoffs, here's the Shanguan Auto Noble. I mean, I don't really need to say it, but this is a Smart 4.2 ripoff, because I guess a Mini wasn't enough, and a smart car was totally the right way to go to rip another car off, I don't know. The Shanguan Noble actually offers 4 seats and is based on a front-wheel drive Suzuki Alto chassis. D tier, no elaboration. Take a look at this. This is called the Wuling Hongguang Mini EV, and it is actually the world's best-selling electric vehicle, surprisingly. So Wuling took the world's best-selling EV and chopped off its roof to give you the Mini EV Cabrio. I want to shout out these amazing individuals for supporting my endeavors and thank all of you for spending your precious time watching me yap for 10 minutes straight. My social battery ran out a long time ago. Here's the Discord link for those who care. Love y'all, take care, and bye bye.